Right then, welcome back, and today we are playing with the 2020 Street Triple RS. Now, the AI, for some reason, were absolutely on one whilst I was using this. We went to Cadwell Woodlands first off, and yeah, they just would not give me anything. They would not allow me to get any momentum, any rhythm, and nothing, and we ended up with a 40.9, which was, it would have been, well, it was top 20 on, it would have been top 20 in the awards. And rather than do a video for the setup, I'm going to do it slightly different. We went a medium soft at Cadwell, so that's the setup there that I ended up with at the end of everything. Now, why am I showing you that? Because after I did each race, I made a note of the times and everything else, and then I went back and we had to go on the leaderboards and we had to go on the time trials, and we ended up on a 39.874. Now, we did some laps, 34 of them, and yeah, we went fastest. So the bike is very, very good, very, very good. It wasn't putting a lot of heat into the front tyre at Cadwell, so I went to a soft front tyre from the medium, and I took one click off of the spring compression, rebound and preload. The tyres were much better at Alton Foster's. There was a much more even spread of tyre temperature, and they were wearing quite even as well. We did a 56.6 in the race, but I thought, you know what, I think there's a faster lap time in it. So again, at the end, I went back, we did a 56.6, another 24 laps there as well. So I've pumped some serious time into this bike, trying to get the setup right. That put us third. It's just, Foster's has got, it needs a bit more power than Cadwell Woodlands, so it just was missing out at the top end. Then we went to VIR South. Now, VIR, I mean, what is going off with the AI there? Everyone's just committing motorcycle suicides, but VAR needs a little bit more front end, so I did one click on the spring hardness, compression and rebound, still running the softs. Yeah, we did a 9 in the race, which would have put us 12th on the leaderboards, but again, we went back. I wasn't expecting as big a jump, actually. Only getting a second or so at the other tracks, and we've got 3 seconds here, which again bumped us up to third. It's missing out on power again. You need more power at VIR. CB 1000R and the Daytona again, just a lack of power. Sorry, I was distracted then by me absolutely doing daft things at Laguna Seca. Went to Laguna, thought mix it up. Laguna's all about corner speed and braking. Yeah, all right, there is a bit of a requirement for power, which was evident in the lap times, but didn't make any changes between VIR and coming to Laguna. One thing that did become obvious here, because the corners are a little bit longer and the entry and exit speeds are a little bit higher, the bike was a bit understeery. It just didn't want to go into the corner. So we did make some changes before the next race, and we would have ended up 58th with a 123.9. I didn't bother going back. I don't really like Laguna, and the bike was, like I say, it was down on power. Then we went to Kanto again, group falling off in the first corner. To get rid of the understeer, we did -1 click on the front preload. We ended up on a 136.4, which is not a bad time, actually. Again, Kanto, the more power you've got, the better. There's 4 or 5 rather large acceleration zones. So we went back. I wasn't expecting to set the world on fire. I'd already gone there with an R6 and we were 5th. So I went back and we did a 135.6. Yeah, 662, and that would have put us 4th. But again, you've got a 750. I mean, that time on the R6 is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, just maybe he's lacking a little bit of go. And then last but not least, I thought we'd go to Tsukuba Circuit in the wet and just have a little look at how it was using wet tyres. I'm doing a comparison on wet and stock tyres at the minute, and it's quite interesting, but that'll be out in a few days. yeah, so I went to Kanto, had a bit of fun. We didn't make any change. Sorry, went to Tsukuba, didn't make any changes after Kanto. We didn't win, it was close. It was a wet track, so a drying track, and we would have ended up just outside the top 200, which wasn't too bad on a wet track. The race itself was quite close. We lost out to a 10.50 triple, but I went back, and rather than a 57.7, we did a 54.882. Went back a couple of times, and that would have put us 14th, which was okay. Again, Tsukuba, it's all about power, isn't it? So that is where we ended up. That's the setting that I showed you early on. Now, for a naked bike, I think that is quite an extreme setup. Yes, it's using the soft tyre. So if you went to a medium front tyre, you could drop the settings on the front end down a couple of clicks, 2 or 3 clicks, to compensate for the extra heat. The problem is then that you're moving energy forward and you take energy out the rear tyre, so you run the risk of not getting the rear tyre up to a decent temperature. If you run traction control, you then can't use what power the bike's got to get it spinning, to get some heat into it, etc, etc. So I ran the soft, thinking if people go to somewhere like UMC or like a Magni Cause or maybe it's an Imola, they could just stick a medium front tyre in, because the track will naturally put the energy into the front end. But it's not really a bike for those tracks. It's naked, it's absolutely topping out at 155, 160. There's nothing much really left after that. So what is she like then? So pros and cons. Well, it's a very accurate motorcycle. What do you mean accurate? You can adjust your line halfway around a corner and the bike will support you in doing that. It's not going to kick off, it's not going to spit the back end out, you're not going to lose the front, and it all ties into the second point there, which is the amazing front end. It's one of the best. I mean, the Ducati 999 was very, very good. This is not far behind it, just for the way the front end feels. You get on the brakes, you're just getting a nice bit of feedback through the pad, you can see the bike moving about, and you know that the minute you let the brake off and get on the gas, that the front end's not just going to like wash out and you're going to lose it. It's a very, very user-friendly motorcycle. It's also quick, which helps, but yeah, well, quickish, but we'll come to that in a minute. And the triple, I have a real thing for triples at the minute. Obviously my missus has got the R version of this bike, and it's made my Kawasaki Z1000 SX feel like an absolute hunk of junk. So yeah, the engine is just fantastic. Cons, twitchy. It's a naked bike. The way the bike responds compared to some of the stuff with fairings on, it responds a lot quicker. So you've just got to be careful on changes of direction. So Cadwell Woodlands going up the mountain, it would change direction so quickly that you were riding over the inside of the curbs. Also as well, when the front and back wheels do start coming off the floor, the bike's not particularly heavy, so you just need to be steady there. Slowish, it is. I guess I've been spoilt riding Kawasaki ZX10s and God knows what else around the Nürburgring, but even riding this around the Nürburgring, it just felt like half a size too slow. And the dashboard's a mess. I'll put on some of the races, and you can have a look at the dashboard, but it's an absolute mess. There are the electronic settings as well. I've moved them to the side so that you can see them. Anti-wheelie off the line, don't use anti-wheelie 0, it'll just flip over backwards unless you've got godlike throttle control. You might, or just use a load of rear brake, but I just ended up leaving it on 1, letting it launch off the line, and then off you go. But yeah, that's it, it's done. Great bike, very, very nice to use, quick enough. Yeah, one of my favourites, but it's very much dependent on the track that you're on. So yeah, have a go, let me know how you get on, and fingers crossed, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, stay safe, take care, peace.